Hello, welcome to Honest Wednesday with Maple Tree Cancer Alliance. Whether you're newly diagnosed, undergoing treatment, or in recovery, this conversation is for you. I'm Ariel, an exercise oncology educator, and today's conversation is on returning to work after cancer and what you should know. Following our conversation, stick around for some gentle movement. The information in this video is for educational purposes only, and it's important to consult with your medical care team for more in-depth guidance and advice. Let's get started. Here are some questions I recommend asking yourself. You want to make sure that you evaluate your situation honestly. Question number 1, will I physically be able to handle my pre-cancer workload? Number 2, am I certain I want to return to this job or do I consider a fresh start? Question 3, will my employer and or coworkers question my ability to perform at my pre-diagnosis level? I recommend scheduling a call or meeting with your boss and identify any special accommodations you may need. There are several barriers to returning to work after cancer and finishing treatment. Cognitive challenges include difficulty concentrating or focusing, potentially memory lapse or feeling mentally slower. Some physical limitations include ongoing fatigue, low energy, pain, neuropathy, or weakness. Some emotional and psychological barriers include feeling overwhelmed by routine or pressure to bounce back, low confidence or imposter syndrome, maybe telling yourself or asking yourself, can I really do this? Depression, isolation, or grief from the cancer experience itself. Legal or logistical issues include being unfamiliar with rights under ADA or FMLA, difficulty assessing or requesting accommodations, and navigating disability paperwork or reduced hours. And then workplace related barriers include lack of understanding from coworkers or supervisors, pressure return to full duties too quickly, worrying about discrimination or job security, and just being unclear about the return to work policies that are in place. There is no right timeline. Your timeline is personal and you should be guided by how you feel physically, emotionally, and financially, not just by the calendar. You want to listen to your body and your energy levels. Recovery doesn't end with treatment. Even after treatment ends, you are still healing. It's completely normal to experience fatigue, brain fog, or pain. Returning to work may require extra planning, rest, and flexibility as you continue to recover. As American citizens, we have workplace protections. This is under the Americans with Disabilities Act. You're protected from discrimination at work and you have the right to request reasonable accommodations. These are changes that help you do your job safely and successfully, more breaks or quieter workspace, less physical demanding tasks, and you're asking for help. It is not weakness, it's self-advocacy. Then there is Family and Medical Leave Act, which is FMLA, and if eligible, you would receive up to 12 weeks of unpaid job protected leave. Your health insurance stays active during leave, and your job is guaranteed when you return. And you are protected from retaliation for using your FMLA rights. Employers are not required to lower standards to accommodate an employee, nor must they provide personal use items like glasses or hearing aids, but an employer must accommodate a qualified applicant or employee with a disability unless the employer can show it would be an undue hardship to do so. If you feel like you have been discriminated at the workplace on a basis of disability, you can file a complaint with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which is the EEOC. You must do this within 180 days of the time you think the discrimination occurred, although some states or local laws allow you to take up to 300 days. Support is available. Reach out to your care team to discuss your readiness to return to work. There are programs like physical therapy, exercise programs, and occupational therapy that can help rebuild strength and function, while vocational rehab and social workers can guide you through job planning and support. Thank you for being a part of our conversation on returning to work after cancer and what you should know. I hope the information we've covered has brought you clarity and comfort. Your health and well-being are what matters most, so please continue to take care of yourself, stay informed, and remember, hope is always present. Now, let's transition into some gentle movement to further support your journey.
Hi everyone, I'm Morgan, your Maple Tree Exercise Oncology instructor. This is the second week of our 12-week exercise program for lymphedema prevention. Exercise is a safe and effective measure you can take in order to reduce the likelihood of lymphedema occurring. If lymphedema is currently impacting an arm, we want you to use this arm as normal and wear your compression garment. Just like last week, this workout will be seated. The following exercises are meant to be pain-free. If you experience any pain during these movements, please stop and skip that movement or stay in a pain-free range of motion. All right, guys, we are gonna get started. We're gonna start with some shoulder warm-ups just to work on our breathing and get some blood flowing. So we're gonna start with some shoulder shrugs. And so we are going to start with inhale and exhale. And we're gonna do this 10 times. So we want that good posture, sitting up and just moving those shoulders up and down, working on our breathing. And we wanna act like we're breathing out through a straw. We're gonna do this one more time. We're gonna move on to some shoulder rolls. So we're gonna do backwards and forwards. So what we're gonna do is you can have your hands on your legs or on your hips or even hanging if you have the ability to do that. And we're just gonna roll those shoulders, bringing them in the front, pushing them down, up in the front, and circling back, using those shoulder blades to move those shoulders. And we're gonna go backwards one more time. And then now we're gonna reverse. So we're gonna go forwards. And we're gonna do it 5 times. And one more time, really using those shoulders, exaggerating that movement. And then next, we're gonna move on to our wrists. So our arms are gonna be extended laterally, and we are going to have our hands starting up in that supinated position, and then we're gonna twist them down to that pronated position. And we're gonna do this 10 times, having that palm facing up, and then rotating down. If you find having a weight or a towel to grab with this movement is helpful for you, then I want you to do that too. And if you're not able to have those arms out to the side, have them down with your elbows at your side to the extending out laterally and then flipping those hands up and down. So we're gonna do this one more time. And then we are going to add in some wrist circles. So we're gonna keep those arms out to the side and we're just gonna use those hands and circle them backwards. And we're gonna do this 5 times and then we're gonna circle them forwards, still keeping that upright posture, going through. And then we're gonna go with those flat hands facing down and we're going to flex our wrists up and then bend them down. And so we want those movements to be exaggerated. So really think about trying to get through that full range of motion, even if you feel like you aren't able to do that, unless you're having pain. And we're gonna do this 2 more times for a total set of 10. And then we're going to rest our arms, shake it out a little bit, because holding those arms up to the side can get tiring. And then we're gonna extend those arms again, and basically we're going to have those hands super open, and then we're gonna squeeze them into a fist. And we're gonna do this 10 times. Big extended hands, squeeze it into a fist, open and close, open and close, and 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're just gonna sit and relax. After we relax those arms a little bit, we're gonna move on to our shoulders. So you can have your arms down at your side, and we're gonna work on the rounded shoulder stretch. And so we're gonna extend those arms in the front and grabbing those hands into the front, pushing your shoulders, rounding that back. And I want you to exhale. And then when we come back to center, I want you to inhale. And we're gonna go through this 10 times. So this should feel really good on that back, especially if you are tired and having some back pain, stretching out those shoulders. And back to center. We have 8 more. Extend. And we wanna take our time through these movements so that we get that full range of motion and allow those muscles to squeeze that fluid back towards our heart. Think about your shoulder blades being pulled apart by those arms stretching forwards. And one more. And back to center. Now we're gonna do the opposite, where we're squeezing our shoulder blades together. So we're gonna put our hands either on our hips or we can put them on our legs, and we are just going to have good posture, and I want you to think about squeezing those shoulder blades down and back together. And then we're gonna relax. You can use those elbows to help guide those shoulders back, really squeezing, taking our time. And we are on number 3. And 4, you can exhale when you're squeezing those shoulders together, and inhale. All right, we got 2 more. And 1 more. All right, our next movement, we are going to have our arms at our side, and we are going to be holding a fist, which we are going to be extending out and pushing and then bringing back to center. But we want a nice, tight, activated fist, which when we come back to center, we can relax that hand, and then we can push and then pull back in. So almost like a bench press, but we are upright and we are pushing forwards and then coming back, relaxing those hands. And we have 10 of these to do. We've already done 5. And push, pull back, relax those hands, push, pull back, push, pull back. We got 2 more. Push, pull back. If you want to add in an extra hand fist pump, you can when you extend. And we have 1 more. Push and pull back and relax. I want you guys to keep those elbows right down at your side and pretend like you have a newspaper or a towel in between that armpit and you want to squeeze it down. We're gonna do some pull aparts. So keeping that fist, I want you guys to bring your fists together and then pull them apart to the side. And so when we bring them together, I want you to inhale and exhale as we're bringing it out to the side, getting some extra core activation in there. And we're on number 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're on number 8. And the tighter you squeeze those elbows, the more challenging this will be. 9 and 10. All right. Last part for our shoulder and arms, we're gonna do some bicep curls. So if you wanna add weight, you can, or you can even get a squeeze ball to get that extra palm activation. But we are going to flip those hands up into a fist, keeping those elbows at the side, relaxing them down on your arms, and then you're gonna bring them up towards your shoulder, and then back down again. We want to make sure that we're going up and down in a straight line, getting that pump. Really squeeze those muscles at the top. Pretend that you got something heavy. And we have 5 more for a total of 10. 7, 8, 9, and 10. We are going to move on to our trunk. We're going to start with some dynamic side reaches, and we're going to do a set of 10. And so with dynamic, that means we're flowing through the movement, that we're not going to stop at the center. And so we are going to reach up and stretch, and then we're going to bring it down to the side and flow through the middle, reach over to the other side. We can practice our breathing where we inhale when we come to center, and then exhale as we reach over. If you are not able to reach over your head, I want you to have your hand up by your shoulder and reach as far as you can, still getting that side bend. And even if you aren't able to get that hand up, we can put our hands on our hips and reach through, bending at the side, and then coming back to center and flowing through. We're going to do 10 of these. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, and 10. If this stretch feels extra good for you, feel free to do some extra reps in there, or even take a longer time stretching through that side. But we're going to move on to our prayer stretch plus an isometric chest press. So what that's going to look like is we're going to put our hands together in front. And so we are going to reach up and stretch, and then we're going to come back to center, and I want you to push those hands together. And so we're going to do that 10 times, starting with that stretch. You can exhale, inhale, exhale when you press. Exhale, inhale, exhale when you press. And we are 2 down, reaching up, coming back to center. Press those hands together, reaching up, back to center, and press. We're at 4, 5, and 6. If you aren't able to reach all the way up, just lean back, look up, and then come back to center and push and stretch and push. We got 2 more. This is 8, 9, and 10. All right, guys, we're going to move on to our neck. And just like last week, we're going to start with some neck turns. And so we're just going to turn our head to the side as far as we can towards that shoulder, and then back to center. I want you guys to take your time through this, getting that stretch and coming back to center. We don't want these to be fast because we want that full benefit of stretching and contracting and elongating those muscles. So we're going to do 10, starting with 1, 2, 3, and 4. We still want to be in that nice posture position with our shoulders down and straight back, getting in that core work. And we are at 7, 8, 9, and 10. Next, we're going to do our side neck stretches. So what that's going to look like is we're going to take that ear to the shoulder, and we can even tuck that chin a little bit to get some extra stretch in there. And so if you want to practice your breathing through this, feel free. What it's going to look like is we're going to go exhale as we're putting our ear to our shoulder, and then inhale when we come to center. We have 10 of these, and we're going to start right now with 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Then we are going to do our butterfly shoulder stretch. So this one is new for this week. And what that's going to look like is our hands are going to be behind our head, and we're going to take those elbows, pull them in the front, and then we're going to pull them in the back, lifting our head, looking at the ceiling, and then back to front. If you aren't able to put your hands on your head, I want you to put your hands on your hips, and we're going to do the same thing with our elbows, where we're going to look forward, pull our elbows forward, and then look back up at the ceiling as far as we can, and pulling those shoulder blades back by bringing those elbows towards your back. And we are going to do 10 of these. So hands on your head or hands on your shoulder, and we're going to go forward, flexing our neck, and then back, looking up at the ceiling, pulling those elbows back, and forward, and back. If you want to work on some breathing, we are going to inhale as our elbows are coming forward, and then exhale as we are looking up at the ceiling, and back to forwards. This is number 5. 6. Remember, take your time through this. We want some good stretching. 7. 8. 9. And 10. All right, thanks for joining me on week 2. I'll see you again next week.